Hello everyone, it's Valentine's Day and I am super duper happy to be here and to be doing this. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. I am Esohe Michael, and if you're new on this channel, you are welcome. Kindly subscribe to my channel, like, comment and share. Remember that sharing is caring. And so back to the order of the day. Like I earlier said, if you can still remember that I actually sought for soundings on my social media handles on relationship questions. Thank you so much for all those that came through for me. And like I also said, I'll be inviting a professional on this channel who will be providing solutions to every of the questions asked. I will tell you today that I actually did keep to my promise. I'm not alone in the house. I've got with me a man with a sparkling personality, living with a high level of intellectual capacity. He is a doctor, a relationship coach, a sought-after motivational speaker, a good father, a loving husband, and a pastor at the house that Winston built. Can you make welcome Dr. Chidi?
Amen. You're welcome. It's nice to meet you. You're a wonderful personality too.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir. It's a rare privilege having you on this channel. I'll tell you, I do not take this for granted. Thank you so much for gracing the show with your presence. Thank you so much. God to you real good.
Amen.
Hope you're ready for today's
Yes, I'm ready.
questions.
I'm ready for your questions, and I also consider it a privilege to be on your show and to be able to share ideas with you and your viewers. And I look forward to an interesting time together.
Yeah. Okay, Sam, let's get cracking into the business of the day. Relationship questions.
Okay.
Number one question, someone asked, a guy asked, now that there are broken homes everywhere, what is the possible way out? Like the qualities to look out for in a woman before going into relationship or before going into a marriage with her?
Okay, that's a nice question. So first of all, let me say once again, Happy Valentine to everyone, and I want to believe that you're having a wonderful day and time with your families, your dates, and those who you consider special, and that beyond those you date or you have relationships, that you seize the opportunity to encourage others and to show them that you appreciate them, those you work with, work for, and those around your neighborhood. All right, so coming to your question, you said homes are breaking up. There are more challenges in the home front today, on the domestic front. It's not a Nigerian problem. It cuts across the whole world. So it comes down to the first thing, like you say, first principles. The premise on which people build or grow relationships are flawed. That's the problem we have. The premise, I repeat that, on which relationships are built or which families are built are flawed. The values that we have today and that which existed many years ago, maybe 50, 60, 40 years ago, are not the same. Some things that people held as important, as an integral part of an individual or society, they are significantly altered. And because it is altered, interpersonal behavior and interaction is also, an expectation is also altered. So what you see amongst young people these days, people are getting into relationships, marriages, without understanding if they both have the same values, the same belief system, and the same similar vision, or if they can work as partners. That's the problem that you have. Now, so what happens midway into their lives together as a couple? Now, for some, it's astonishing that in less than 1 year, some relationships, homes are gone. In fact, I know a photographer that told me, Pastor, you know what? When you take pictures, wedding pictures, you make sure you collect your money, because sometimes before they are able to pay you, the marriages are dissolved. Now, that sounds funny, but that's the truth in the experience. Now, so what that shows us is the foundation on which people are building relationships are wrong, and that's the problem. That's my
Okay, thank you,
answer.
sir. Number two question. One school of thought is of the opinion that if your partner doesn't get jealous when he or she sees you with the opposite sex, then he or she doesn't love you. And on the other hand, I've seen some other way too jealous people that are diehard cheats. The question is jealousy a sign of love?
No, of course, on the surface, jealousy is not a sign of love. And the fact that you use the word jealousy, for so many, the connotation of jealousy, what it signifies is obsessive possession. Obsessive possession is wrong. Each one has a right to their individuality, to their person, and to interaction. And so, if you see your date or your fiancé or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case may be, your husband or wife relating with the opposite sex, it shouldn't incite or it shouldn't stir up jealousy. Now, there is the natural sense of protection you have over what you consider to be yours. That's only natural. If my wife, I consider her to be mine and I am hers. So there's that protection that goes with it. There's that feeling of ownership, of being committed to one another. That's normal and that's natural. However, it shouldn't be that when I see her talking to someone of the opposite sex that I become uncomfortable. If I am uncomfortable, then I have to deal with that. I ought to be able to tell myself, no, something is wrong with this. Unless, of course, like you have in some cases, there have been cases of infidelity and mistrust. And so in that case, there's a deficit of trust. There isn't confidence in that person. Now, in that case, they caused it. But no, regardless of what it is, in being overtly possessive over the next person, you have to caution yourself. Remember that people are free individuals and they have a right to their expression and their associations, and there's no exception to that. So that's what I think.
Exactly, well said, sir. Thank you for that. Number 3 question, a lady asked, is it normal to be in a love relationship with someone, as in someone you're into, and still feel a deep-seated attraction to someone else? Does it spell carnality, normality, or a sense of spiritual problem?
I like that. Okay, so let's take it this way. There's an innate desire in man for the opposite sex. It's in animals and it's in humans. There's an innate desire in a man to want a woman. It was put in there by God. In fact, the scripture says that it becomes ungodly, or it's born out of a reprobate mind when one has desire for his own sex. The Bible calls it inordinate. It says it's born out of a reprobate mind. And so there's nothing wrong that you see someone and something in you is drawn, attracted to that person. It's perfectly normal. It's not within your control. What's within your control is what you do after that. So I'm married to my wife, but she's not the first and only female I have known. So there's nothing wrong in you're in a relationship with someone, you're in a marriage with someone, and you see someone else who you might say, wow, this lady is attractive. This lady is okay, let's say this lady falls within the predilection. That's what some call it. People have a certain type, body type, or female type they like, or male type, and when they see it, they're easily drawn to it. That's a recognition of what your personal preference is. But it shouldn't be, it's not a spiritual problem. Where there's a problem is if you start going beyond that to become flirtatious, to want to get to know beyond that point, then that's where the problem is. But aside of that, it's part and parcel of human existence and interaction.
Thank you, sir, for that. Number 4 question, someone asked, should there be a reason to love your partner? And I think this question is justified. I've had different schools of thoughts on this. One is of the opinion that loving someone for whatever reason isn't a genuine love, while another is of the opinion that at least something should keep you attracted to someone you love. So, sir, what's your take on this?
Okay. Usually, there's a reason for which you want someone. Now, I think the difference with people is what that reason is, what you qualify as the reason behind it. Let me give you an example. Some people are attracted to others because of their physical appearance. Let's say men are generally attracted to women because of a physical appearance. Some are attracted, I know people who are attracted to the opposite sex because of their cerebral status. You know, they are sharp, they articulate, they are attracted to people who are articulate. And you see, if you watch the friendships they have had over time, a common denominator is brilliance, is intellect. And you can identify that. There's nothing wrong with that. Evidently, there's something about their personality, something about their upbringing that stirs that up. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think where there is a problem is if the reason for which you're attracted to someone becomes, do I use the word inordinate or selfish? Let me give an example. Your attraction is because of the position on the job. That becomes, that I can question that. It's because of bank status, account status or whatever it is materialistic, it's material. And that's it. Because all that supposes that when they don't have the money, you are not there, you're not attracted to them. But like I said, if you're attracted to someone because of their cerebral prowess, they will always have it. It's something you're drawn to. It's part of them. It's part of their makeup. They will not lose it. It's what makes them who they are. So sure. It's going to be there. It's going to continue to pull at you and so on and so forth. So there's nothing wrong in being attracted. For some, it's an attraction, the height. So she's a tall person, but then you cannot commit to every tall person you see. So you see the one you want, or you get the one you want. You say, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want to live. And then you commit to that, and all others just fade away. But there's nothing wrong if you're attracted to certain qualities, certain values, certain beliefs. I think it's safe to say that. But some other things, when I say some people are given to, I had someone I had known over the years, and all the ladies he brought to me, pastor, and incidentally, I was a minister too, were either working in multinational, in fact, not either, they were all working in multinational companies or big banks. At the stage, I told him, I said, hey, you have to ask yourself, if it's money you want, ask God to bless, ask God to give you ideas, you make money, and not this. So, because I asked him, I said, how come is it that there isn't any copper, there isn't any student, there isn't any young starter? All the people you've shown me over the years are bankers or people working with multinational. I told him to his face, something is wrong with that. So in that case, it's inordinate, it's self-centered. But generally, if it has to do with persons, value system, beliefs, attributes, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, someone also asked, a lady asked, I am eloquent. I love guys who are too. I have someone presently in my life who has almost everything I want in a man, but his English is faulty beyond repair. I don't want to appear immature. Do you think bad English is enough to be a deal breaker in a relationship?
Okay, that's an honest and sincere question, and I appreciate that. English is our official language in Nigeria. But for some, let me not say for some, for many, it's their second language. So they are first introduced to their tribe, their ethnic whatever language, and then when they get to school, they now learn English. So mentally, they translate English, or the way they communicate, they translate in their minds, they translate from their local dialect to English, and then they articulate, or from their local dialect, and then they articulate. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not their fault. That's what they were involved. That's what they were exposed to. However, for some, the first language they pick up is English. Now, they might pick up their own dialect or their own tribe, but the first thing they pick up and they're comfortable with is English, and then their tribes. Now, for such people, they are fluent in English. They are comfortable in English. But for some reason, if someone doesn't have English as its primary means of communication and doesn't have a mastery of the language, that shouldn't discourage you. Remember, he or she can improve on that. You can get an instructor. You can get on the net. There are many things you can do to improve yourself. And in any case, you understand what I'm trying to say. However, if they have character, they will be a good mate to build your life with. Whereas if you had somebody who is well-spoken, who is fluent, but they don't have character, you're going to have a problem. Why would you have a problem? You live with a mate. It's not a debating club. It's not a recitation. It's a life you live with someone. And in living together, it's more than English language. It's character, it's personality, it's integrity, and so on and so forth. So it shouldn't be a deal breaker.
Word. Thank you so much, sir, for that.
Yes.
Okay. A guy asked, he said, this isn't a question. I just need an advice. I found out my babe was once married with a kid, but she claims she loves me dearly and that she doesn't want him anymore, but the guy still wants her. Advise me.
That's a little complex. So we know that sometimes for naivety or for plain errors, people make mistakes, and the unfortunate consequence is that marriages are broken up. It does happen. And well, number one, people shouldn't be stigmatized because the marriage they had did not work. Now, with that said, you'd have to. I advise strongly that you'd find out why that marriage did not work. Now, here's my rule of thumb: if it's possible, speak to their former mate. If it is possible, brace up, speak to their former mate. Come as a friendly person. Come with sincerity. Tell, I don't judge you. I don't have anything against you. But I'm in contact with this person, and I heard you had a relationship. Please, could you sincerely tell me your own side of the story? It takes two to tango, they say, and every story has two sides. That way, you'll be able to tell what the issue is with the lady. Now, of course, each person is going to have their own sentiments to it and whatever. But you obviously, having spoken to their ex-spouse or their former spouse and speaking to your fiancé now, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to tell because you're dealing with the person. And so that way you're well informed. Now, with that, there shouldn't be a problem if there isn't a challenge from the lady in question who has a child. That shouldn't be a problem. But if you've noticed or if you observe that some of the things the former man was saying, that you see those things and maybe to you there might be issues, then you have to think hard about it. But if it is not, maybe it's overwhelmingly clear that their former husband had issues and that she was just a victim of wrong decision, then you should be able to trust her, knowing that since she's certain she's done with her former husband, that both of you can go ahead and build your lives together. But notice, you ought to be very careful. And like they say in some ways, you have to check all your bases before you make that kind of decision.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. Okay. A lady asked, what are telltale signs that a guy is in for the long haul and not just for the heck of it?
Okay. I think, first of all, each lady has to be sincere to herself. Sometimes women's judgment are clouded by their own desires and their own aspirations. However, if they are able to put that in perspective and observe a man, the difference between a man who is ready to commit his life to you and a man who is just there to play around as night and day. It is so clear that I don't have to start to enumerate them. If someone wants to spend their life with you, if you are the center of someone's attention, you are the center of their life, you will know. Now, if you are not the center of someone's life, for a season, for a period, they might deceive you. But if you observe, and again, remember I said, if you're true to yourself, some things you will say and do will not reconcile. You can readily tell as a woman, as a lady, this man has his heart or affections somewhere else.
Wow. Wow, wow. Thank you so much, sir. That was enlightening. Okay, someone asked, aside from having an intimate relationship with someone else, why still in the relationship? Why still being in a relationship or having lascivious thoughts towards some other persons? What other things qualify as cheating in a relationship?
Okay, that's nice. So in a sense, let me offer my own view. When two young people come together and want to build their lives as individuals, it's always in your best interest to make sure that there isn't sexual involvement. Sexual involvement does not connote intimacy. So avoid sexual involvement. The reason you should is because sex beclouds judgment. Sex beclouds judgment. Then two, and very importantly too, God has ordained sex only within the confines of matrimony. Now, but you can accept that or refuse that, is up to you. So back to the question. With that in mind, before one gets involved into full-blown sexual involvement, adultery or fornication, and I like to call that as, because that's what it is. You younger people call it, I had someone tell me some years ago, PMS. I said, what's PMS? He said, premarital sex. I said, today, is that what it's called now? They all started laughing. They looked at me like a cake man. I said, hey, that's a nice word. That's a nice word for, you guys have come up calling the nice word out of fornication. As far as the Bible is concerned, that's fornication. But here's the point. Jesus said, while speaking to some of his disciples, he said, if a man thinks in his heart, he said he has already sinned. Now, the seat of human action is the thought. So, unfaithfulness is not only at the point where you are involved sexually. No, it's a process at the point or when you observe yourself thinking about someone, planning in your mind, playing with immoral thoughts. That's already infidelity taking place. Now, we know that the devil puts those kind of thoughts in people. We know also that certain exposures make such thoughts happen. But once those thoughts begin to show up, it's your responsibility to address it, to pull it down, to stop it. Because if you don't stop it, it becomes full-blown unfaithfulness and infidelity. However, so as a measure, each of us should be able to tell ourselves, it's not until I get involved sexually before I'm unfaithful. I'm already unfaithful when I begin to make compromises, when I begin to tell lies, when I begin to make ploys and plots, and I don't want my mate or my spouse to know, and I'm doing all this just to stay with someone else. At that point, you should know this is unfaithfulness, and you deal with it before it swallows you up.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. I have the last question here.
All right.
A guy asked, I'm a young man in my late 30s. I met a young girl over 3 years ago. She was 21 years of age at that time. She was seeking admission too, but unfortunately she didn't get admission until January 2020 due to coronavirus and the ASU strike. So 2020 was more like a waste. She's still in 100 level now. Things are no longer going the way I expected financially. There's already a marriage pressure on me. Is it advisable I get married to her, considering a lot of responsibilities that will come with her being a student? Or should I consider getting married to a working class lady? Okay,
that's nice. That's a sincere question, and I appreciate that. So for this person, the temptation is that you see marriage as a transactional thing, as a financial transaction. Okay, she's in school, and then I need someone who's already working. My mom says you'll be married all your life, so you'd have to take it seriously. You'll be married all your life. So how long is academic year, or how long is an academic the academic calendar, or the scope of any body of knowledge? The longest is medicine. That's the longest, 6 years, or veterinary medicine, like I studied, 6 years in the school. Then you do 1 year of internship, and then another year. That's the longest. Now, it's unlikely that that lady is in the vet school or is in the medical school. However, it doesn't matter. What you're talking about is, you're talking about a partner that you want for life. What I will be focused on, or what I should think your priority should be on, is the quality of that person. Is that lady what you want? Is she hardworking? Is she godly? Is she focused? Does she have the qualities that you desire? Now, if you see those qualities, student or no student, stay with her. Pitch your tent with her. The worker you know today was a student yesterday. It will amaze you the difference in financial profile or in career profile when someone leaves the university and 10 years after graduation. You'll be amazed at the progress some make. So I don't think your focus, if your focus is on the fact that they are students and you have responsibilities, your responsibilities will always be there. They will always be there. But when you get a good mate, the scripture says 2 is better than 1. It also says that 1 will chase 1,000, 2 will chase 10,000. There's something about a good mate that amplifies the results of your life. She might be a student, but the wisdom she comes with, the ideas she comes with, the concepts and her person just incubates your vision, and you'll be amazed at the results that your life will produce and her own life. And then in any case, a semester is not more than 9 months, and then she's out 1 year. Before you know it, 3 years, 4 years, the person is out of school, and they have their life before them. You'll be, if you stick with her, if you stay with her, I'm certain you'll be glad you did. You'll be able to harness and build together and make something wonderful. Marriage is living together. It is not a business. It's living together. So that should be what's paramount in your mind as a young man.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. I've really, really been blessed today. Hope you too have been blessed today. I will tell you, I wasn't starved of an intellectual conversation. Doctor, thank you so much, sir, for coming on this channel.
Thank you for having me, Esohe.
Welcome, sir. Okay, before I draw the curtains, there'll be a there's already a dating and marriage seminar powered by the house that Wisdom built. It's on building lasting relationships. It started on the 7th of February. It will continue 14th, 21st, and 28th of February, 2021. The venue is at Church Auditorium, number 3, Hazan Close, off Olorunfumi Street, off Kudirat Abiola Way, behind Phillips, Ojota, Lagos. Time is at 9:15 a.m. Do well to attend. I'm sure you're going to be blessed. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I'll see you when next I see you. Happy Valentine's Day again. Bye-bye.